Okay, Monday, 10th of June, 2024. So, take the red pill. Read the rational male. So, recently I came across an interesting book that a friend of mine recommended to me. The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi. Now, due to logistics and schedule and timetable, I've not quite yet started reading the book, but I have listened to the author in his YouTube livecasts speak for about, let's say, 10-15 hours. So I've got an interesting grasp of the key principles and premises that he approaches the book. And talks about in the book. Also discussed it with ChatGPT, usual stuff. Now, a very interesting book here, and the whole premise behind it, the red pill, which I've known about already for a good while. I couldn't say 5 years, I guess, in general, because it's important to be humble and always learn about different topics and fields and concepts and beyond. It's very important to learn as much as you can about life, all the nuances, the science, the chemistry, the biology, the physics about life. It's about evolution. Very important to understand life and the world, how it works. Now, this book is very interesting. It seems to be very interesting, especially because there's an interesting concept that the author talks about in his videos, which finally clicked to me today, which is to separate the ideology from the science, separate the human subjective values, morality, ethics, and beyond, from the mechanics, from the evolution. He says a few times that it doesn't matter how a woman gets pregnant. Doesn't matter the sex position, for example. All that matters that it happened. And that is a pure mechanical, biological imperative and evolutionary process. And there's no ethics and morality involved in that in nature. All morality and ethics, the subjective nature of reality, is arbitrary. It's arbitrary. It's just human-made, man-made. And that was profound. Because now what you're doing through this book and understanding the logic behind it and beyond, follow the logic, follow the maths, is that we are separating human subjective nature from ideology, from mechanics, from science, from maths. That's powerful. That's a very, very scientific way to look at life and to approach life and society and technology and business and everything. That's powerful. Very, very powerful way of looking at life. Now, what was also very interesting, and I'll put this in the link below, and I might even put this as the thumbnail as well, is that he talked about an interesting quote that Elon Musk on Twitter made in May 2020, I believe. 17th of May 2020. Simply put, take the red pill, and there's a rose emoji. Very interesting. Okay, we can interpret that which way, but it's a very interesting statement of fact. Take the red pill. So then it seems to be in life then, as a man, you might want to metaphorically, figuratively, take the red pill, i.e. be able to recognize reality and not recognize the objective truths of reality, like gravity, water is wet, all these things, without looking at them through the lens of an ideology, through a subjective morality or ethics or whatever else, or through a culture. Just looking at things as they are, the reality, the human relations, the mechanics, the evolution, the biology, everything else, the social structure, everything. Now, you do run the risk of being very nihilistic when you approach it like this, and being there's no point to life. But at the same time, here's reality. You run the risk of being nihilistic in one of your approaches, or the complete opposite, with absolute pure clarity. And that's one thing I've talked about quite a few times on this channel, on this vlog. Clarity. We want clarity in life, what we do and don't want. Clarity to do this or not to do that. I don't want to go here, I want to go there. I don't want this, I want that, and beyond. Because when you understand a lot of these concepts in the book, or in society, or as the author talks about, or in general, when you accept a lot of things in life, as you accept it, and not look at it through an ideological lens, you get closer to the truth. You get closer to the truth as in you understand what the world is about, how it works, how people think, what makes people tick. And we want to do that because then our mental model of how the world works, if I do X, Y will happen. If I don't do Z, A will happen. It gets stronger and stronger because we have a stronger grasp of reality. Reality being the key word there, how the world works. I don't mean that in the behind the scenes thing, as in the hard maths and science of and the psychology of people. The praxeology, human action, the study of human action. Why people do X, why not Z, for example. If I take this item here and I drop it, 1,000 out of 1,000 times it's going to fall to the floor. And the more times we challenge that, or we try to challenge that, the further we reinforce the whole idea of gravity, the further we enforce it. So the stronger you try to push back against a lot of things in science and these different fields of study, the stronger they become. It further proves that this is reality. Reality. This is the truth, some would even say. Now, where it gets a bit interesting and a bit dangerous is where you look at things through a subjective ideological lens. Looking at one thing, a rock, that's immoral, that's unethical. Well, it's just a rock. What is it? It's just a matter of fact. It just is. And there seems to be some things in life we just have to accept, like gravity, like water is wet, and who knows what else. Things that I have yet to realize or enumerate that I will discover in the next few weeks and months and years of my life. Fair enough. But that was interesting. And looking forward to reading the book as well. I've got an interesting primer that a friend of mine recommended to me, and I've nearly finished it. A first book to read through, to blast through it, and then get started on that one. And then there's 5 of them in total. Very interesting. So I've got a primer. I've got a strong grasp of what it's all about anyway, but nonetheless, very open to new ideas. Always, all the time. And it seems to be that in life we want to take the red pill to have a stronger grasp of reality. I did a video similar to this a couple of months ago now, where I always say become the demon. And this is a reference to a thought experiment hundreds of years ago by, I want to say French, but certainly European mathematician, Laplace. Laplace's demon talked about nowadays we would say supercomputer, but back then it was a metaphorical demon that knew all data, all information, all variables in life. Temperature of this, atmospheric pressure of that, the height of this, altitude of that, you name it, the speed of this, everything. It could predict the future to the nth degree. Now, the more we understand about reality, human nature, evolution, biology, physics, chemistry, you name it, the better our mental model will be of the future, of the world, of reality. Again, if I do X, Y will happen. If I do Z, A will happen, for example. I know what will happen. So it seems then we want to be taking the red pill. It seems we want to be taking the red pill to understand the objective truths about reality, who we are, what the world is, how it works, and beyond. So then we can we can go into the future, we can go into the life with a much better and refined and stronger, resilient and anti-fragile mental model. Now, in the context of the book, it talks about dating, but nonetheless, you can apply the logic, that thought process to everything. Science, maths, you name it, logic, praxeology, psychology, you name it. So it's very interesting. So take the red pill. It's for you to decide. You're an adult. But there seems, you tell me, you comment below, you know what to do. There seems to be some merit to it. Well, you tell me. But nonetheless, looking forward to reading the book, going through more of his live casts, nicely busy with life, usual stuff. But otherwise, you will see me tomorrow.